What we've been after, what we've been exploring, is learning to hear and to discern the voice of God for ourselves. And what a beautiful treasure it is. I can't tell you the thousands of mistakes I've avoided because I stopped and asked God, Lord, what are you saying about this decision? I can't tell you the hundreds of joys that have come my way that I wasn't even aware of or wouldn't have taken time to stop and enjoy unless I had asked God, Lord, what do you have for me today or this weekend? What I want to do now is explore and sort of unpack the idea of learning to listen to God together as a family, for example. We do this over big decisions and sometimes over small ones, family vacations, or is it time to, get a new pet? Or, Lord, do we make a move to a new house? We bring our family into that, and together we listen to God. It's a beautiful thing, and it's absolutely revolutionized the way we make decisions together as a family. What I was describing in this entry was the dynamic of learning to listen to God together. We can also do that in leadership, the leadership of churches, the leadership of businesses and companies and organizations. I mean, think of the hours of endless meetings and negotiations and bickering and, discussion that can be avoided, all of that emotional exhaustion, if you just stop and ask God together, okay? First off, it takes intentionality. It takes building this into your meeting where you allow time, not for the quick, Jesus be with us prayer, but you actually allow time to pause and let's listen together on that. Lord, what are you saying to us, about the direction of our church or our ministry or our company on that? Now, this gets a little messy at first. Okay, so let me give you a little direction on how to unpack this, because quite often what happens is people hear different things. And what that can either mean is that some people are not quite yet hearing from God and they're bringing their own ideas and convictions to the table, or what it can mean is that they're hearing different pieces of the answer, and then you have to kind of stop and pause and ask God what that means. Okay, so here's how this works. First off, to practice this together requires that everyone surrender to God, that we are all yielded to God on that, okay? We were supposed to do a conference in Canada a couple of years ago, and I was uncertain about it. Part of me didn't want to go. It was going to interrupt a family vacation. I had to move some things around, and so I kind of brought my prejudice and my bias to the table, right, and what I thought we ought to do. Now the problem was that Gary and Craig, the part of the leadership here, they both felt that we ought to go and felt strongly that we ought to go. Now, how do you resolve that kind of thing? How do you unpack that? We stopped and we asked God. And what that required was that all of us, myself included, surrender our thoughts, surrender our desires, surrender our biases, and yield to Jesus Christ. And what we heard was, go. I heard, go. And then boom, it's done. It's resolved. Okay, we have unanimity and we're going to go. Now when you don't have unanimity, then you sort it out. And it's important for people to say, well, I'm not really sure that I think I've heard strongly from God on this one. Or even to confess, you guys, I can't hear right now. I'm so invested in one answer, I can't get to hearing God right now. So I'm going to trust you all with this decision. You know my position. You see, there's a humility that's required. There's a conversation and a processing. But if we would begin to practice this together, it would absolutely revolutionize the way we lead families and churches and companies and businesses and even nations. Can you imagine stopping together as the leadership and asking God what He is saying?